Today I'll let you see how I make my drawings digital in Adobe Illustrator. First I will show you which windows I like to have open in the right side of my screen, and that are the brushes, the layers and Pathfinder. In this tutorial I will explain what the windows do when I am gonna use them. When making an SVG file, it's better to draw with a brush than with a pencil because of the line thickness, but I will show you that later. In this screen you can open your saved brushes you prefer. These are one of my saved brushes, and I click on the brushes I think I need, and you see them jump to the right screen where we can use them later on in drawing. First to start with a 1 or 2 pixel brush, and later on I change my strokes in different brushes. You can also duplicate brushes, so you have more of the same brushes but just in different sizes. This is a screen where you can make your brush in bigger pixels or in smaller pixels. When you change the size of a brush, it will always ask if it needs to be applied on the strokes you already made, but I didn't make any strokes yet, so it doesn't matter. I also like to draw with a black color instead of a white color, because you see that much better. Now I will make my drawing into a template, so it's locked and it's more transparent, so I see my brushes better on the screen. You see I open it in the layer window, and I also make a new layer so I can draw on an. It's open, I select my brush tool and I'm ready to draw. I will show you a couple of lines, how to draw them with the tool, and for all the other lines I will speed up because it's pretty boring seeing me tracing all the lines. That's not that hard to do. The drawing will speed up so we can go to the next step in but this also gives me the time to explain a bit why I love to make the combination of drawing it first on paper and then this. I still think that when you draw on paper you can make lines a bit better and you have more control over the pencil than when you do it with a digital drawing board and a digital pen. With digital drawing you can just use the basic shapes and you have a perfect shape. That's why I use the circles for the eyes and such. When I want round eyes, I use the basic shapes. I don't even bother to try and make perfect circles on the paper. And as you can see, the eyes are way better than that I have drawn them. Also, I want to show you a trick, because I made one eye now. And if you select all the circles of one eye and you click on your right mouse, you group it first and then you go to transform and reflect, and then you mirror just the eye and copy it, and then you don't have to draw it twice and you have identical eyes. Now I will adjust the eyes some more and go further with the strokes on the drawing. You might wondering why I do it like this, because this takes a lot of time, and not just trace it like Illustrator also can do to make a drawing an SVG file. The reason I do it this way is because the lines are way smoother than when you trace it. If you draw yourself, you know you're gonna erase a lot of pencil and you get a lot of false lines, so that's why I prefer this way as well, because I can adjust my drawing and I don't have the noise of my erased lines, which will be picked up by the tracing program of Illustrator. Another downside of tracing also is you can't influence the thickness of the lines or how the lines look, and with the brush and your own brushes you made, you can make your own lines, and sometimes you just want other lines than just a regular straight line. Another thing which I love about digital drawing, this arrow, the white arrow, if you click on a line you've drawn, you can adjust the form, the shape it made. If you're not totally satisfied with how the line is, and without redrawing the line again, you can just click on it with the white arrow and you can adjust the line exactly like you want. Now let's speed up a little. You see me drawing very quickly. I don't draw that quickly. It's just the video that's speeding up, so you don't have to see me drawing the whole hedgehog in slow motion. The drawing is now almost finished. I used some different strokes for the eyebrows and the nose and such. Also, I did the first lines with a pixel smaller than the rest of the body, so I am adjusting that here. And we finally come to the most important part to make a good SVG file. As you can see, I have zoomed in very closely because the lines need to connect with each other. Each line needs to connect to the next line, because if you have but just the smallest gap, your SVG file is not going to work. This is also my favorite part because I love to make my drawing perfect, and here I adjust the lines. I use the pad tool, the white arrow in your menu bar. As you can see, you can make every line exactly like you want it to be. You can make it rounder, you can make it straighter. It's just what you prefer. This is what you're gonna do in the whole drawing. You just zoom in, check all the lines, if they connect, and if they connect, then you are done. I will speed up the process so you don't have to see every gap I have to connect the other lines. That's not really interesting. You see how smooth you can make the lines, and just perfect like they should be. Almost done now. Here you can see how I change the lines afterwards. Now I select all the lines and go to Object, Expand. This way I can union all the lines, and union you will do in the Pathfinder window where I just clicked on. Now all the lines are connected as one. Now we have just one big image. The next step we're gonna do is outline. This way you make your image in parts so you can make color layers in your SVG file. As you can see in the layers, you have a lot of pieces of the image. I prefer to have a silhouette background of my image so I can create the illusion of nice thin black lines because of the color layering on top of it instead of real thin black lines. I have the silhouette, the background selected, and I give it a black color. Here I arrange the silhouette to the back so it won't bother me with coloring. You see a tiny little eye for that layer. I click that off so the silhouette is gone, and I can easily pick the pieces of the image and color the other parts that needs to be colored first. The eyedropper tool, which I will show you with the head, like now. That's that tool I am talking about. It's really nice to use for parts you want the same color, so you don't have to guess, but it's just the same. I will speed up the process a bit because this hedgehog has a lot of parts, so I will quickly fill the colors like they needed to. As you see, it's just clicking the layer you want to color, and piece by piece it's getting just a great picture with colors. Now we're almost at the last part of everything, like this layer, the ear. I want that to be black, and like I showed you, I have a black silhouette as a background, so I can use the tool back minus front. That is kind of like punching your image through the colored layer, and that gives you the effect that the black silhouette is coming through that colored layer. And I do it with the mouth and the nose and the eyebrows, so you don't have many layer on layer if you're working with vinyl or heat transfer vinyl. I will select all the parts I want out of that brown layer and union, so I can just do it at once. So I select the head, I have unioned the black parts I want to go out of that layer, I have selected both. That's what I just unioned, and I hold my shift key and I select the head. That's the body. Now the head. It's not always working like I wanted. There's that. And then I go to my Pathfinder window and I use back minus front. The reason I used back minus front was because the layers, the facial parts were on top of the color, the brown part. You can also use front minus back if the layers were the other way around, but I always prefer to adjust my layers than to use that other tool. That's just, as you can see, we are almost done. The last little steps you have to take, I have saved it here, but I was too quick with saving because I forgot to expand the eyes. So I'm doing that here still. And when you have colored all the parts, I prefer to group the parts with the same color, so you can easily find the part you need. And this is how you make an SVG file of pencil drawing. I hope you enjoyed watching my video and gonna try it yourself. And I hope you show me how it turned out.